Well, Ray Kurzweil, it's a pleasure to spend a little time with you.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time with our ExecuNet membership. I know you're one of the world's leading futurists, and I can certainly vouch for that, having just come from a sold-out luncheon presentation. I actually met a chief technology officer from a very large global organization who described your luncheon presentation as a must-do during his time here in New York. So anyway, you've got a lot of followers out there. That's sort of wanted to ask you a little bit about your perspectives on where you see things going. I know you talked about the democratization of innovation. Could you share some perspective on that?
Well, if you look at major breakthroughs recently, it doesn't require a lot of resources to create them. I mean, Facebook was literally created and was working at users with a few $1,000 capital. It's $19,000. It's done originally on Zuckerberg's notebook computer. Google was created on a couple of notebook computers. It's a late-night dorm room challenge. You've got these very powerful tools emerging now, even in medicine, where you can do work and test things out, at least in vitro and in simulation, with very little equipment. And I'm mentoring teenagers who are doing groundbreaking biotechnology development. So the tools of disruptive change are in everybody's hands. If you want to start a fashion line, you better get this young woman, Tabby Gevenson, on your side. She makes and breaks fashion lines. She was on the cover of Vogue. She just turned 15. She started her very influential blog when she was 11. The world has discovered she has something to say. She's got access to the world market, as every blogger potentially does. So you can not only create your innovation, you can reach the world market at essentially no cost. And it's a very different development. And with the emergence of things like three-dimensional printing, even physical devices are going to become very inexpensive, accessible to innovators at very low cost.
How would you describe the shift in the pace of innovation? Is that something that continues to accelerate? What are you seeing out there?
Well, I gave a speech on the occasion of the 550th anniversary of the University of Basel, which started near where Gutenberg made his invention in 20 years late after he invented the printing press. And I said, wow, that's exciting. You must have had some of his books when you opened your doors. They said, yes, we got them very quickly. It was only a century later. It took 400 years for the printing press to reach a mass audience. The telephone only took 50 years to reach a quarter of the U.S. and European populations. The cell phone did that in 7 years. Social networks, wikis, and blogs did that in 3 years. So there's a continual acceleration of not only the creation but the adoption of these technologies. And what's driving it is something I call the law of accelerating returns, which is that information technology grows exponentially. Its price performance, its capacity, basically doubles every period of time, which is typically 1 year. Right now, every 11 months, we're doubling the power of computers for the same cost. It's trillions-fold increase since computers were first used about a century ago. Several billion-fold increase since I was a student. And we'll do that again in the next 25 years. We're shrinking the size of technology exponentially. And so this opens up new opportunities at each price point. At each point in price performance, whole new opportunities explode. So social networks weren't feasible in the year 2000, but around 2004, 5, 6, they became cost-effective, and so it exploded. You can anticipate when that will be if you look at these predictable and exponential trends, and that's the theme of my talk today.
What human limits have to be overcome in order to realize a lot of what you've described?
The reason we create tools and technology is to overcome human limits. So we couldn't reach that high branch, we fashioned a stick to reach it. We've extended our physical reach. We make ourselves smarter. This makes me smarter than I otherwise would be. I can access all of human knowledge with a few keystrokes. And by the way, so can a kid in Africa with a smartphone who has access to more information than the President of the United States did 15 years ago. So these are very powerful tools. They compensate in fact, we can't remember things right. We're hard pressed to remember a handful of phone numbers, but we can access all of Wikipedia and lots more. Just with these devices we carry around. We ultimately will integrate them into our eyeglasses and ultimately into our brains. We have limitations physically and mentally. We've overcome some of them with these technologies.